Hey, real quick before we get started, a couple things. First, shoutouts to Yonas for not only getting first, but letting me do the quick interview with him. Second, if you guys want to see the locals, I did stream the whole thing. The finals is actually really, really close. Highly recommend checking it out. That's going to be linked in the description below. Then also, while you're on my Twitch, within about an hour of this video dropping, we'll be going live with Olympus's case tournament that they're doing this weekend. Should be over 64 players. It's going to have, 6 or 7 rounds of Swiss into a top 8 cut. It's going to be all live streamed on my Twitch channel, so make sure to check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys for watching, and enjoy the video. All right, I'm back like 2 days later in almost like the same spot as the last video. Different player that we got, Yonas here, who got first place, 6-0, guaranteed first place this time, with Rob Lucci, and the winner Nami, just for proof there too, because you can only own this card if you won with it. But you've been playing Rob Lucci for this set. You played a lot of Smoker in set 2, right?
Yep, I played black almost all during OPO2, and I started playing black in OPO3.
Yeah, and I think Rob Lucci's really strong right now. You make it look very good, and we did stream that finals match. I think was really good, and a lot of people want to see the deck list, so let's just get playing into it.
I'm excited. I call this deck High Roll Lucci.
Okay.
It's a very greedy deck list, and the main source of the greed is the fact that we're playing 8 searchers.
Sure.
We have 4 Spandoms, and we have 4 brand news.
Yeah.
These are kind of the engine pieces. We need to get a bunch of cards in our graveyard with the CP cards, because a lot of them care about cards in your yard.
Yeah.
And Spandom is just a random body to apply a bunch of extra pressure, and so is brand new. So that's why we're playing a full 8, and that's why we're playing.
Yeah, and specifically like the Trafalgar Law we just matched, you just had to. It's really good for trading into those, and even just doing late game pressure at times too.
Yep. Let's next talk about a bunch of these CP cards that we're playing in.
Sure.
So the classy ones that are really good for Fukaros.
Yeah.
Definitely the best black card to come out in OPO3. For Khalifa, it's a 2K to always play. And these are the reasons I'm attracted to playing the CP package. The first 4 is Bluno. Bluno was insane against my Law opponent before.
Yeah.
It was just so annoying for him to kill, and a 6K body that you can make into a blocker if you'd like.
Yeah.
And if not, it can just be a 6K beater. Or a 6K, it's either a blocker or a beater. And when it dies, you bring back the silliest card in this deck, 4 Kumadoris, actually.
Yeah.
This card, not great to play a lot of the time, but you play it when you have to. But it is so synergistic with Bluno to pressure your opponent that it's worth playing the 4.
For sure, yeah. No, I was talking to him in chat, like sometimes vanillas are just so good in this game. It's crazy, like how good they are.
And 4/6 has been the sweet spot for a long time.
Yeah.
Whitebeard's been playing 4/6s the entire time during OPO2.
For sure.
And Yellow's been playing Charlotte Opera 2 as well.
Yep, yeah.
And the next synergy piece is Kaku for the CP package. This card is insane. I'm used to playing Sakazuki, and Sakazuki tries a whole extra card to kill things.
Yeah.
And sure, this guy can't kill small or big things
by itself, right?
Yeah. But we have a little bit of specialty from the Admiral package to kind of help with that. So this is the stuff we're trying to hit off of Spandom. In terms of the Admiral stuff, we're playing the best cards in black. For Borsellino and for drop Kuzan. This is my favorite card in the game right now. There's a reason why I have
you have all arts.
So good. I'll never cut this card from my deck ever. And this card makes Kaku absurdly powerful.
It does.
There's a bunch of other things. And Borsellino is just an absurdly grotesque blocker.
Yeah, and generally you just have so many 6K bodies that your opponent has to swing into to pressure you sometimes that it just makes it hard for that value.
Yep. And to round this deck out, this 8K blocker or a bunch of 2Ks. Playing a full 12 2Ks in this list. Kind of messing around with more or less, but that's just kind of. I think these 8 are the best, so we're going to play playing these 8 the entire time. Yeah. And as for the non-4-ofs, Sakazuki, not great against the red decks that exist in this format. You don't want to kill a Marco with it because it comes back immediately. But you really want that kind of body against yellow and the other basically non-red decks because it's resilient, doesn't die to all like the Thunderbolts in red or 3,000 Worlds in blue, or Thunderbolts in yellow.
For sure.
So it's still very good. Only playing 2 Ishos. I think people really like this card. It's so good against the red decks.
Sure. And yellow, I think, too.
It's also very good against yellow. People just want to put a bunch of cards in their hand because they feel good about it. And this card's going to be punishing decks like Whitebeard, punishing decks like Zoro, punishing decks like Ace. And this card kind of puts this deck on overdrive.
Sure.
Putting everything as -3 cost is also kind of obscene. And lastly, I'm sadly down to 2 Shockwaves. I might go back up to 4, but I really wanted to be trying all these searchers to kind of give me a little bit more consistency, and missing out on a few events isn't the worst deal in the world.
For sure. And so, yeah, here's, I guess, just a quick full deck there. So what would you say is the worst matchup and best matchup for this deck?
The worst matchup is the matchup I played twice today. I played against Law. Law just does a few too many attacks, and they go a little bit too wide for this deck to resiliently beat. And Bonnie is just like the most unbeatable card in the world.
It is, yeah.
But if you're able to neutralize a lot of their threats and kind of have them peter out, you can win those matchups, and that's what happened with me, fortunately. And Zoro is probably one of your worst matchups, mostly because 5-drop Marco and a lot of pressure is really hard for this deck to deal with as well.
For sure, yeah.
As for the best matchups, I think this deck is absurdly good against Whitebeard. The fact that we have 12 blockers in black instead of the original 4 with Borsellino, Fukuro, and Bluno means that like all their 8K swings are just being neutralized by a random blocker, some of which create like
recur itself, for sure.
And all the other like random blue decks and green decks think they're also favorable matchups, mostly because they don't have great ways to pressure you, and you get to neutralize their one big threat with the combination of like Kuzan or Kaku or stuff like that.
For sure. So any other cards you're thinking about, like 10-drop Kuzan on your mind for this deck at all?
I think 10-drop Kuzan is really powerful, and if you expect a lot of other big decks like Lucci, you might want to play a couple. I'm expecting more Zoro, a little bit more lower to the ground decks, so I try to minimize the amount of expensive clunkers without counter. But again, if a matchup gets a little bit bigger, I would probably play a couple more.
For sure, yeah. Well, deck looks good. It looks fantastic when you were playing it too. You definitely had a lot of reps with it. So
I appreciate it.
Congrats again. Good luck on your big tournaments. I know you got a couple in the next couple weeks too. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
This for a few more days.
Cool. Well, thank you guys very much. Hope you guys appreciate it, and we'll catch you all next time.